nervous. I've never done one of these on YouTube before. I've been live on Instagram twice, but never on YouTube before. So yeah, I decided I would try it. I'm doing this at kind of a weird time because it's like 2 p.m. in Georgia, so it's like the Eastern Daylight Savings Time, and most people are at work at this time. The only reason I'm not at work is because I'm off because I work at a school and we're like between semesters, so I didn't have work today, so I decided to go live. I also, if I go live, nobody can really be at home because my family's at work because most people work, you know, in the middle of the day. If you're going to go to work, normally you're going to be there in the middle of the day, and 2 o'clock is very much the middle of the day. Like, that's really when a lot of people start or get off work. So I think this is like a time that a lot of people normally aren't going to be on YouTube and stuff watching live. So hopefully I can get some people. I saw that one person just joined. Thank you for joining if you're new here. I'm not sure if I can see like who's watching or if there's even any comments coming in or not. It might have been, hang on. Is there like, okay. I do know that there's a leaderboard I can see too. So if there's people who come in and leave comments, I can see who's at like number 1 and number 2 and number 3. I'm going to be watching the Smart Doll Live tonight, the Smart Doll News by My Lady Disdain. I love her YouTube channel, and it's a scary episode tonight about tariffs, so I'm nervous for that one. But I'm very glad they're talking about that and stuff because we definitely need to talk about that. So there's no one watching now. My one person from earlier left. They were probably just scrolling, and they were like, "Ooh, look, alive!" And they were like, that doesn't look interesting to me. I don't even like dolls. So I imagine that's what happened there. So in today's live, we're just going to be talking about several different things. So I mostly want to talk about like the new Smart Doll releases and everything, Modern Doll Collectors Convention that I'm going to in just a few days, which is insane. And I actually have a list of stuff. I'm going to grab it real quick. So, all right. So we have my first live, which is one thing I want to work on. We're going to have working on my shelf, chatting, Modern Doll, new Smart Doll releases, chatting about that, talking about a new dolly obsession of mine, which is Little Darling, and also filming / new video ideas and stuff I have going soon. I'm gonna, hang on, somebody just like sent me an Instagram message, so I'm gonna check that real quick. Can I do that through here? Okay, it wasn't anything about that. And also, too, I made a post on Instagram talking about going live, and it just sent out the thing like, countdown's over, Katie and her dolls is live. So I'm going to go grab my computer, and I'm going to log on and make sure that I can hear myself and everything, okay? So I guess I'm going to leave y'all here. I'm sorry about that. I'll be back in just a second, but in the meantime, you can look at my collection. It's not looking very good because me and my boyfriend, thank you so much if you're watching this. We like recently painted my room back in the summer, and we had to move all of these shelves. And the only way I was even able in the first place to get half my shelves to be looking decent was because I spent a long time working on them, and I don't have that much time now. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to fix that. And hi Tina, I just saw you join my live. Thank you so much. Hi, I watched a few minutes of one of your lives the other day. I still need to finish it, but these are always so much fun and stuff. And I'm doing very good. How are you? I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go grab my computer so I can just make sure I can hear myself okay. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, y'all. Okay, I'm back now. I'm just going to log on real quick, and I'll be right back in front of that camera. How do I... I'm right here still. Hi, Tina. What's the last thing you said? Oh, yes, I also love going live. I never done it before. This is my first one on YouTube, so I'm nervous, but they're a lot of fun. Okay, let me see if I can pull up this live on my computer to make sure I can hear myself and everything, okay? I'm not sure if it's even going to let me watch it on my computer. I mean, that's probably a good thing because Yeah. All right, there we go. Okay, this is working good. Okay, now this way too, I can see the comments better without having to like squint and look at my phone because I also have it pulled up on my computer. So I'm gonna try to see if I can zoom in. And it looks like too, there's a slight delay. So I'm watching myself talk, which is the most insane and awkward thing later. I just saw that another person joined my live, so thank you so much. I did have some friends because I made a little post on Instagram before and they were like, I want to watch you, but I'm at work and stuff. So I'm going to try to see if there's a way that I can save this live so other people can see it later. I might not do it though if it's too awkward because this is nervous, but this is something that can make you nervous. But thank you so much for the encouragement, Tina. What are you doing? Let me see. I'm actually crafting a picture for my smart dolls room and thinking about making a DIY video on how I make it. Okay, I would definitely love to see that. You know, I also have a smart doll house, so I'm really wanting to make like decorations and stuff for their house. I do really like a lot of your crafting videos. I saw one the other day where you made like a little like beanbag chair for your smart dolls, which was cool. The newest house I'm working on is Clara's. No, sorry, not Clara's, Chloe's. And I have a bed and a desk that's good, but I also have a little shelf for it that I need to fix. It's either going to be just like a shelf or an entertainment center. I'm probably going to paint that white, and then I need to put some pictures and stuff on the wall because Chloe's a VSCO girl, and like the main thing I always think of with VSCO girls is lots of really cool like wall decorations and stuff. So I definitely need to get on that. But I really love working on that smart doll house. And another thing too is one of the reasons I'm practicing going live is so if you're not aware, if you're a smart doll person or you just like dolls or you're interested in smart dolls, so a really good friend of mine on YouTube, Marna, and her husband Darren, they have a little thing called Winterfest, which is a virtual smart doll convention. It's not just for smart dolls, but like Winterfest focuses on smart dolls. And I'm going to be one of the people who's going to have a little presentation on Winterfest. My first time ever presenting or anything at a convention virtually, which is perfect because I can't really travel too much outside of Georgia. But I am very, very excited about that. What was I going to say about it? So I need to practice going live because my presentation on Winterfest will be live and I'm nervous about that. So I thought this would be a good way for me to practice going live and not getting super, super like anxious or scared about it. I did see another comment coming in. You're my hero, Katie. Oh, thank you. I see that your name is Diva Dolls 9000. What kind of dolls do you collect? I know Tina collects Reborns and Smart Dolls, Barbie. Tina collects like everything. I do need to. I watched your video. I watched a little bit of your live that I saw yesterday, Tina, and I also watched 2 videos the other day. But if there's anything else you posted, I need to catch up on it. I don't have too much time to watch videos from my dolly friends, but now that I'm not as busy, I'll definitely have time to catch up. So, yeah. Um, what should we talk about now? So, I have a lot of things to keep like myself busy and stuff talking on this live. I recently started working on my shelves really need to be redone, but I thought it would be cool to have a special little place for my smart doll heads so I can see them and we don't have to worry about them getting stained. I currently have 4 floating heads. I really need to get more bodies, especially for my boys, since all of these floating heads are boys except one. But boy bodies, although they're much cheaper now, they're harder to get. And with like school and stuff, because I'm going to make a separate video about this, but I was accepted into a college program that's pretty much full time. It's going to be 3 years till I'm done, but it's very excited about it. It's a pretty big deal to be in this program, but because of that, I won't be able to work near as much, so that will be less doll money, unfortunately. So I really have to I can still buy dolls, but I can't buy as many, so I just really have to be careful with how much money I'm spending, but I would really love to get 3 more boy bodies. I don't even necessarily need heads, but right now we can't buy just boy bodies from Danny, so if I get boy bodies, I'm going to need to get heads too. But then it's going to be hard to part ways with those heads. Yeah, that's the problem. But soon in September, I will finish paying my layaway for my newest smart doll boy, who's going to be Gavin, who's just a character I like. I used to have him as a Dolphy Dream boy, but I decided I prefer the look of the smart doll boys. I do love Dolphy Dream as well, but I just prefer the look of smart dolls, especially if they're already smart dolls, because the Dolphy Dream boys are slightly shorter, and I kind of thought of these boys as being like closer to the same height and stuff. So I'm wanting to keep that group of characters as smart dolls. I do plan to get more Dolphy Dreams. I still have Caitlin, who is my Dolphy Dream Pretty, but I really like the little Dolphy Dreams, like the kids and stuff. So I do plan to get more at some point, but now I'm just focusing on smart dolls. But I learned the hard way with heads. Uh-oh. Oops, I'll get her in a second. I learned the hard way with heads that you have to be very careful with them because even if the heads aren't on a body, they can get stained and stuff. And that's what happened to this head here. So this is Logan, who is my second ever Smart Doll boy and my first ever custom. But I put him in my little like dolly drawer and somehow he got up against something blue. I don't know if it was like a pair of boy jeans or what it was, but his face has stained now, and that really sucks because I really loved him. And the really bad thing about getting your boys, not just your boys, like your dolls custom made in general, is that if something happens to them, it's going to be very hard to replace them. And that's what happened to Jordan the first time. So as you probably saw if you follow me already, I just got back from the beach a few weeks ago. When I go to the beach, the thing that I absolutely love to do is do doll photography and film and stuff and like take my dolls to the ocean. But Jordan, who's like, in my opinion, like one of my absolute favorites, and I think he's one of the dolls that my account's more like known for, kind of, if I even have any dolls like that. I took him to the beach and somehow he got something on his face and it literally made his face up come off. His face up started to just straight up melt or something, but it started by like his eyebrow and it just like, well, actually by like his eyelash there. And like his entire face up came off. I had to contact the woman I got him from and she fixed him, but it was a whole story. But long story short, I didn't get him back for a year and he's my baby, so it was very hard. So now I have a lot of anxiety about stuff messing up my custom boy heads. The good thing though about Logan is that his face is actually his eyebrows especially are very similar to Adam. So if for some reason I was stuck without a Logan for a while, he could like pass as an Adam, and then when I finally get Logan's head back, we could just like go back and everything. But I really hate that. I would try to clean it with a magic erase marker, which is kind of my like go-to for my smart dolls if anything ever stains them or messes them up. But I would be really scared to do that with a face up because face ups are a lot more fragile and stuff. So I would be scared it would just take his poor little face up off. But from like a distance, I feel like you can't really see the stains or anything. So maybe at least for photography or videos, I can get away with that for a while. But what I might do is actually just because he's a cow head. I don't know if you can see that on him. He's a cow. All of my customs are actually cow except Jordan. He's a Cos. But I might just order another cinnamon cow head. I'll have to find it from someone because you can normally only get these from Chaos. And then I'll like send that off to the Chaos, sorry, not to the Chaos, to the face up artist, and I'll keep him so I can use him for photography and stuff because this is a little crazy. But I do plan to get a backup Jordan since he's like my favorite character and stuff. And then that way too, if anything ever happens to him, I'll have a backup so I'm not stuck without a Jordan again for a while. And then too, I'll actually use the other one to be Jordan's dad because Jordan's dad plays a really big role in Jordan's story because I love smart dolls for the stories I come up with them. That was how I got into them for the first place. I do just love the dolls in general, of course, too, but to me, the stories and creating for them and stuff is like really what makes it worthwhile to me. So it would be really cool to have Jordan's dad, and I can also do that and have a backup Jordan in case I ever get in a situation like that before. All right, so I saw I have some new comments. Diva Dolls says, "Oh, he's so handsome. Well done on this custom." Thank you. I did not make him myself. I just told a face-up artist kind of what I had in mind, and she created him for me. And then Tina says, "He's so cute." Diva Dolls says, "How did you deal without him for a year? That's harsh." It was very hard. Like, I'm not even gonna lie about that. So what I pretty much had to do is because I was led to believe that I would get him back sooner than that, and it just kept getting pushed off. So I guess knowing that I would get him soon made me feel better about it. But how I did for my story is that I wrote him out of my story, and then this actually became canon in my story. Is that since he is in college, in my story, Lily and Jordan. Okay, so I used to talk a lot about that I'm going to be an occupational therapist. I'm not going to probably do OT now. I still might, but I was thinking about it, and with my bad knees, which is if you didn't know about me, I do have bad knees, and just with like some of the issues I have with being on the autism spectrum, I could probably do OT, but there are other forms of pediatric therapy and other similar things that I think I could do better and I believe are just as important. So I'm going to be doing something similar to OT, but not OT. But Lily and Jordan are still going to be occupational therapists. But so Jordan is at my story. I decided is that he's at Georgia State University because Jordan lives in Atlanta in my story, and then later he moves closer to Redwick, which is the little fictional town where my characters live. But my story was that he switched to online school for a while to be like closer to Lily and stuff. But then he found out that he had to take some classes in person again at like his college in Atlanta. So he had to move back up there with his parents for a year. And that was how I just like wrote him out of the story. So Jordan was in Atlanta studying. So I made some photo stories and stuff of like Lily texting Jordan and stuff. And I think I handled it pretty well that way, but I'm very glad that I have him back, and I would definitely be taking lots of pictures and videos with him because it was hard being without him for a while. Selena's Elegant Dolls said, I love your dolls. I love those. I love. Hang on, it went away. She said, Selena's Elegant Dolls said, I love those dolls. Thank you. And then Teenage Reborn some more said, I love smart dolls too. They are so cute and fun to sew for. Yes, they are. I do plan to do more sewing for my smart dolls soon. I did make my newest smart doll. Hang on. I'm gonna like sit on my bed for a second, Jordan. My newest smart doll is Lacey's boyfriend. I've done very little with him, including character development and photography and stuff. I really need to do more stuff with him. But here is Jason, Lacey's boyfriend, and I sewed him this tank top. It's not my best work in the world, but I'm really happy considering the fact that I haven't sewed for my smart dolls in months. But I did sew this for him. Tina, I know you have one smart doll. You have Wilhelmina, but also too, I know that you have like another doll that's kind of like a boy smart doll, but I know they're expensive, but the boy smart dolls are also very fun to sew for. So if you do decide to get another, boys are very fun as well. But I also understand that girls are cheaper and it's more fun because girls can share clothing and stuff. All right, so Tina says, I love those stories you make for them. So cute. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely obsessed with them. I plan to do more and stuff on YouTube soon, and I just think they're a lot of fun. Diva Dolls 9000 says, oh my goodness, I love doll stories. Thank you so much. I have a lot of them on my YouTube. I'm working on the process of maybe like bringing some of my older photo stories from YouTube to, sorry, they're on Instagram. I'm working on bringing some of my older photo stories on Instagram to YouTube in the next few like weeks and stuff. I'm about to go to Modern Doll in like a week, so it'll probably have to be a little bit after that, but I am working on that. But if you love photo stories and stuff, I have a whole little series for my dolls on them over on Instagram. So if you want, I would really love it if you would check that out. Tina says he's adorable, looks good, and Diva Dolls 9000 said, can you tell a little bit about Jason? He's so handsome. And then Tina says, yes, I love a 1/3 scale boy doll. I would love to get a boy smart doll, but can't right now, which sucks seeing these boys coming out. Yeah, it is hard to get them now with like, because stuff's expensive like all around. But the good thing is smart dolls are a lot cheaper than they were just a few years ago. Like when I got these dolls, they were more expensive than when I got my recent smart dolls because the crazy thing, I don't know if a lot of people know this about me, but up until this year, up until up until May of last year when I got Lacey, who was Smart Doll Limitless, my only smart doll girl I got in years, I collected most of my collection before 2022. I went like a year and a half without buying a single smart doll, and that was because I was mostly very happy with my collection. I never planned to be done or anything, but I was just very happy. And then Lacey came out, and I really enjoyed her. But then when these like new Smart Doll boys were released back in March, I've been obsessed. So excited about Smart Dolls again and the boys because I love Smart Doll boys so much. It was crazy too that like we went so long without them because I know that there are some people complaining about the price and stuff, but I actually have an issue with that. Like everyone's free to like spend however much money they want on dolls. I personally do a lot of hustling and stuff, so I can't afford my dolls. If it wasn't for hustling, there's no way I could get them. But in my opinion, it's like if you have like a certain amount of money you have for a hobby, you can spend that on one doll, you can spend that on two dolls, you can spend that on 20 dolls. It doesn't matter because it's money you would spend on holidays, sorry, money you would spend on hobbies anyway. So I don't have an issue with people only saying like, well, I wouldn't spend $100 more on that doll. I would get a cheaper one if they really want the other doll, because it's like, this is money that you're spending on hobbies anyway, not like food, rent, or stuff like that. So I don't really see the argument of like, that's too much for a doll, but then they go and buy two other dolls, but talk about that they would rather have a boy. And it's like, I just don't see that. But different people do money and stuff different ways. Yes, I definitely agree with you, Selena. Buy what you love, because you only get one life. And if you have that much money, why would you get $2 you don't want that much instead of getting the doll you really want? Like, I just really don't understand why people do that. Hi, I saw a new person followed Wicked Wonders. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm not sure. I'm guessing you just came into the live. I see that there's currently 7 people watching, but this is my first ever YouTube live. I actually feel like it's going a little better than I thought, so I'm happy about that. But I'm learning the ropes and stuff. I'm just here talking about my smart dolls and Modern Doll, which is a really big smart doll. Not smart doll. It's just a really big like doll convention in general, more artsy dolls. There's not going to be like smart dolls being sold, but there will be a few booths selling smart doll stuff, including Kitten Kat Shop, which I'm very excited to meet them. But it's gonna be a smart doll meetup, which is gonna be crazy cool because it will be my very first one. But finally, back to you. What was your name again? I'm sorry. I'm gonna like scroll up and see. Diva Doll 9000. So Jason is Lacey's boyfriend. Normally for my dolls, I have more of their story planned out when I first get them. But Jason's story is that just like Lacey, he's homeschooled and they live in Georgia. Most of my characters are from Georgia because I'm a Georgia girl myself. And Lacey, she's Smart Doll Limitless, and her story has to do with being neurodivergent and on the autism spectrum. I'm on the autism spectrum, so of course I had to get her because it's like a match made in heaven. But Jason here is everybody wants to rule the world, and his story is going to be about like the world being struggling and stuff because it's hard. It's always been hard, I feel like, throughout history, but there's new challenges and stuff coming along now, especially for young adults. But his story is about really learning that you can't change other people, but what you can control is yourself. And he's in a homeschool group. He's in 12th grade, while Lacey is in 11th grade, and he goes to his first ever school dance, and it's going to be like his senior prom or Lacey's like junior prom or something, and he shows up to take her. But how they meet is just in like a little homeschool group or something for like homeschool kids all across Georgia, and they become friends. It's going to be the type of thing where they're more of like friends, but she has feelings for him, and he doesn't know if he feels the same way or something. And then finally he comes over to like, I think it's going to be at the like dance that he decides that he likes her more as a friend, and they start dating or something. I definitely got a lot more planning to do. All right, so does Jason have siblings? I'm not sure yet. That's a very good question. Maybe I'll give him like a younger little sister or something. But Lacey does have a little brother. I actually got a what are they called? Hang on, I should like move her so you can see her better. I actually got a Ruby Red Fashion Friends doll to be Lacey's little brother. My first ever Ruby Red doll, because I did think they weren't good siblings for smart dolls. Hang on. There we go. So this is Lacey here. One of my favorites. Do not get Lacey and Lily confused. Their names are very similar, but they definitely are different characters. So the story behind Lacey's name is that Smart Doll Limitless is her like stock name and everything. But I didn't want to name her Limitless because I didn't really think that's a common name for people. But I didn't want it to be something with an L. But I was like, it needs to be something special to me. And I kept thinking and thinking. I couldn't figure out a good L name for my doll. But finally, so another thing about me is that I live on a farm. I love farm animals like cows, goats, chickens, all that. But I used to show livestock for 4-H, and I really, really loved showing goats. And I had one of my first ever goats I ever got as a kid was named Lacey. Now, I actually had 2 Lacey's, which is a long story, but my goat Lacey passed away when I was in 10th grade, which was really sad, but she was older and stuff. And I just got to thinking about Lacey a lot that week, and I was like, hey, Limitless and Lacey both start with L's. So that's the story of how Lacey got her name. It's very sentimental to me. I've loved the name Lacey ever since I was a little bitty kid. Like, I think since I was like 7 was when I really started liking the name Lacey. So I thought it was high time that I named a smart doll Lacey. And here's her boyfriend, Jason. I think they look cute together. They do have the same color hair, which is cute as well. Tina says she's got to run, but I'll watch the replay. You're doing great for the first live. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Okay, thank you so much, Tina, and I hope you enjoyed watching my live, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you for saying that you'll rewatch my video. That means a lot to me. I'm trying to get monetized. That's more of just a dream for me, and I never even considered the idea of getting monetized. I never even took that seriously until like last week. I have like 2,000 watch hours and I need 3,000 to get to like the first part of moderation, which is pretty much like the tip jar, but I'm not really expecting or wanting y'all to like tip me or anything, just for like talking about dolls and playing with dolls and videos. But the good thing though is I'm halfway to getting 4,000, which is where you get like watch ads and you can get money from ads on your videos. So that's like the main thing that I'm looking forward to. But I'm really going to try to make a lot more YouTube videos to meet that, because I realized something really crazy. And that's that your watch time from shorts, from my understanding, does not count as watch time for like actually getting monetized. But the crazy thing is that my shorts actually get a lot of watch time. Like last week I posted a short and it got like 4,000 views or something. And it got like 20 watch hours of it, which is insane, by the way, because that short was a minute long. But that doesn't even count for like my community watch time, which, I mean, I just really don't think that's fair, because it's like, if you ask me, watch time is watch time. It doesn't matter if that's a live, a short, a full video, or what, it's watch time. So I'm hoping that maybe YouTube will change that at some point, but I just really don't think that's fair. So I guess I'm going to be doing more long-term videos soon, but which is fine, because that's what I started doing anyway. YouTube shorts weren't near as popular when I started YouTube back in 2023, so that's completely fine. But that's just one thing I had to do a little rant about. All right, so Diva Dolls 9000 said, my favorite name is Gracie. It rhymes with Lacey. Yes, it does. Gracie is a very cute name, and I do have the doll from the virtual doll convention, Grace. I'll grab her in just a second. Not Gracie, just Grace, though. But I'll get her. She did get a new wig. You haven't seen her like new wig yet. Probably tomorrow I'm going to be posting a virtual doll / Tonner video. Hi, Angie. Nice to meet you. What kind of dolls do you collect? So this is Grace's new wig. I used some of the money I got from sending Rachel and Christopher and the whole VDC team little Sybil kitties we did for that little contest back then. My Sybil's were honestly, in my opinion, not the best, but I worked very hard on them. I had this like really nice gray clay, but after it dried, it kind of changed colors and it didn't look as good, but I sent them anyway, and I was very happy that Rachel sent me a little gift code. So I spent some of that money to get this beautiful new wig for Grace. This is the second release of Grace's, like the basic Grace's, and she originally came with a red wig. I always planned to get her like a little bit more of a natural color wig. The hair she had was natural, but I wanted something a little bit different. But I love that you can change the wigs with these dolls, but I got her this brown hair. I really want to get one of the original Grace dolls. I know they're very, very rare and very expensive, but I would love to add one to my collection one day. So maybe one day I can see one on the secondhand market or something. But this wig reminded me of the original Grace's hair a little bit, so I thought it was very cute. All right, and Angie says, anything and everything. That's good. I collect a lot of different stuff, but I don't do like any and everything necessarily. Smart dolls, like y'all know, are my main thing I collect. I also have some American Girls on the top of my shelf up there. I have some Ideal dolls on my second shelf. That's my smart doll shelf there in the middle. That's not looking too good right now. And then on my second to last shelf, I have Tonners, and then I have some Barbies there. I have that Cabbage Patch Kid was a special doll that I was gifted from my aunt, who that doll meant a lot to her. I have some like miscellaneous shelves that I really need to work on there. That other shelf on the top where all the dolls are laying around like crazy, that is just going to be like the miscellaneous shelf of older dolls I've collected throughout the time. I do have big dreams for that shelf, but as of right now, I don't really know what I'm going to do with that. It's kind of hard to reach up there. I have to get a chair to work on it in the first place, and most of the dolls I plan to put up there are not in the best condition, so I really need to do some restoring projects on that. Right here, I have a bookshelf where I have all types of books. I've got just more of like novels and romance novels and stuff here. One of my favorite books of all time, The Love Letters of Abelard and Lily. I have some manga, a few more manga, a few Japanese manga, and then I have some random just like chapter books and stuff there. This is my manga shelf here where I have all of my favorite manga titles and some that I'm hoping to read soon. I have some like Barbie dolls, mostly vintage. I have 2 Azon dolls. She really needs an outfit. I have my anime doll shelf here. Mostly, they're all shoujo or Jenny dolls because I love that girly shoujo aesthetic of shoujo manga and stuff. So this is my shoujo collection. And then down here, I have 3 shelves of My Little Ponies. So there they are down there. Love them. My Little Pony was really the first thing I ever started like collecting. I got some of my mom's like 80s My Little Ponies back when I was like 9, and I've been obsessed ever since. I did have 4 shelves, but I'm going to be like, I'm not going to have all my ponies on display as much anymore because they take up a lot of room, but I still do really love My Little Pony, and I plan to make more videos about them soon. I also really need to film a video about the My Little Pony live action movie coming out because that's crazy, and I have thoughts on that. And then here I have my other shelf. This shelf needs a lot more work on it. I have books and an old Barbie up there on the top one. My Gem and the Holograms and my one BJD is over there. And these are just literally shelves that have a bunch of like just random stuff I have there that I really need to work on something. Hey, I need to clear my throat. I'm gonna like walk through here, but it's probably gonna not sound too good. All right, sorry about that. I have issues with my throat. I have a lot of like, I have asthma, but I also have really bad congestion issues. So if I talk too much or if I just eat something, I get very congested. It's like, it gets all hung in my throat and it literally makes me feel like I'm choking on my own mucus. So I have to be very careful. It's actually something that makes filming YouTube videos and obviously too, like I've learned, going live very difficult because I feel like I can't breathe too well and like I'm literally choking on my own mucus, but I might have to do that more. But I definitely plan to film for longer because I won't let this stop me. I want to film, and that's what I'm going to do. All right, so I saw I got some more comments and stuff. How many smart dolls do you have, and when did you get your first one? So I currently have, I believe, 17 smart dolls, but 4 of them are floating heads, and I also have a layaway coming at the end of September. I got my very first smart doll in 2020, which is my smart doll. Now I gotta move some ponies. Which is my smart doll Melody right here that I have named Kayla. I wanted a smart doll. So I wanted a ball jointed doll since I was like 14, and I finally got one when I was 16. And I will say this was before I had a job, and when I first started learning about like little odd jobs and stuff I could do to hustle. So I had to save up a very long time to get her, but I finally got her in summer 2020 in June, and that's how I spent my COVID pandemic, was figuring out ways to save up so I could get a smart doll, which I wanted for so long, and I absolutely love her. Kayla, actually, although she's my first smart doll, the one I really bonded with a lot was my second smart doll, Felicity, who you know on this channel as Lily. But I do really love Kayla still, and I am working on maybe bringing her story back. I plan to get a boyfriend and maybe a friend for her sometime soon, but I still love her till this day. Smart Doll Melody too was released in Milk again for the very first time. When I first got my Smart Doll, like this was right when they were phasing out Milk, and Danny had all the Milk girls for sale really cheap on his, well, not really cheap. He had them marked down a little bit on his website, which was crazy. And now 5 years later, Milk's making a little comeback for the 11th anniversary, I believe. So I do think that's crazy. All right. The next comment from Angie says, "My dolls help me with my mental health." Very good. My smart dolls and my other dolls also help me with my mental health too. I have OCD and lots of other mental health issues, so I completely understand. I'm all about advocating for mental health and people being more aware of it because it really is just as important as physical health. So I'm very glad about that, and I'm very happy that dolls can do that for you. My cat loves them too. My cats also love my dolls. All of my cats are outside. I live on a farm, so we have lots and lots of barn kitties. A lot of them just show up, and others too. We are like, ooh, they got some barn kitties. I'll go get some, you know. But my cats, I'll take my smart dolls outside and I'll be like posing them for photos and stuff. And then the cats will just like run into the smart dolls and knock them over. And I'm like, no, please, I'm working so hard on this. Wow. So 17 smart dolls in 5 years. You go, girl. I know it's crazy, but thank you. And two, they were not as cheap as they are now when I got my first ones, which I'm completely fine with. Prices go up and down, but I believe it's just because of the convergency rate that they're cheaper now. But I'm so excited that they are cheaper now, so now it's like easier for me to get more, and I can like justify it more. I'm like, look, they're cheaper now. I love your smart doll, Jazz. I don't have one. I don't have one named Jazz. Do you mean Kayla or Jason, maybe? Let me know. Sorry. It was so awesome when you did a video on your second Felicity. Thank you so very much. So I wanted to get a backup Lily, but I also really wanted Lily to have a sister. So I did get a backup Felicity. Her video was the recent Smart Doll, actually the second to most recent Smart Doll video on my channel. And I still have her just sitting in her like kind of like underwear set now. I want to dress her, but she just looks so pretty because this reminds me of when I got my first Felicity Lily brand new. So my new Felicity did come with the newer Felicity wig that's like a shorter wig, but I wanted to put this one on her because this is just how I think of Felicity, because she had this wig when I got Lily, but I think she's so very cute. I should definitely do like a new Felicity video, like let's dress her or something, and let's see what our comments are saying. My doll, LOL. And that was what Angie said. And Diva Doll 9000 says she has more blush, which is cute. I know that was one thing I thought about with Lily versus New Felicity. I haven't named New Felicity yet either. I need to come up with a name for her. Scoot, Lily, Scoot. So these dolls, the blushing is different. So that makes me wonder if maybe Lily originally had more blushing, but just throughout time it wore off, or if maybe Danny changed it to where Felicity had more blushing. I need to go back and look at the pictures of Lily when I first got her to see if she did have more blushing at the time, but I think they're definitely cute, and two, I like it because that's a way I can tell them apart if I ever do get confused. Which Felicity is the real Felicity? Which Felicity is Lily? So I'm going to put Lily back because I can't have like a bunch of smart dolls just sitting around. All right, so Diva Doll 9000 said it's the skin tone slightly different too. No, the skin tone should be the same. I actually think you might be right though. Does this look? How does that look? I think it's the same. I think Lily might have a little bit more pinkish undertones, while my other Felicity has a little more yellow undertones. That might just be my eyes being weird though, but they are both cinnamon. I was low-key hoping that new Felicity would be milk, and I just got her for a good price, but no, that's fine. She was cinnamon, and that's good too because my original Lily's cinnamon. So if I did have to replace Lily, it would be really weird if like Lily went from being cinnamon to milk. So I am glad for that. But if Danny Cho does re-release Felicity in milk, I might have to get that. There was also a tea Felicity that came out in a very short number like several years ago. And I also feel like if she ever came back up, I would have to get her. We also need a coffee and cocoa Felicity. And if he does Felicity in like any fantasy skin tone, I would love that. I'm not the like, I do like the fantasy tones. I think they're beautiful, but I'm not necessarily seeing myself add one to my collection anytime soon. Although I can say that the blue ones were my favorite, but I just think Felicity is the cutest smart doll sculpt. I love her so much. And I do think I'm a little biased because she is Lily, which is my favorite character, but still, I do really think Felicity is very cute. All right, I don't think I've gotten any more comments, so yeah. All right, so now I think I'm going to move on to talk more about Modern Doll, which is coming up scary soon, which is insane. But if anyone wants to ask me any questions about Smart Doll, feel free. I can easily go back because I don't have to stop filming until 4 because I can't spend too much time filming, but this video is about to be 40 minutes long too, which is insane. The good thing about lives is I feel like it's a little awkward because I can't like edit something out like when I was clearing my throat. But at the same time too, like this video is 40 minutes long. If I was filming a 40-minute long video, that would probably take me at least 2 hours between like editing it, adding some music in and stuff. So I can just post this right then and there and not have to worry about it. So that is one thing I really do like about lives. So there's good and bad to it, but I do plan to do more of these soon. So yeah. All right, so talking about Modern Doll though. So I'm going to be leaving on Thursday. The convention starts on Wednesday and it ends Saturday. I really wanted to stay the whole convention, but I just couldn't work that out with my work schedule as well as my mom's work schedule because she's going to be going with me too. But I do plan to go to another Modern Doll as long as the convention goes well, which I don't really see that not happening. But I'm going to miss out on a few things, including the welcome lunch and the final banquet, which is like two of the coolest things about Modern Doll. And it's also the final banquet is included in my ticket, which is a lot of, I think that's where a good bit of like the ticket price goes. And the welcome lunch is only $5, which is very, very cheap because I do think that's a very good lunch. But I just will unfortunately have to miss those. But I don't really have to miss anything other than that I really wanted to go to. I'm going to be attending the Smart Doll meetup on Thursday night, which is the thing that I'm the most excited about, and shopping for Little Darling and other like dolls by Diana Effner's Artist Guild. So that's exciting. But I'm going to be going to a few seminars. I signed up for the Allison Sorry, no, I misspoke. I signed up for the Anderson Art Dolls lunch on Saturday, and I'm also going to Allison Hernandez International Playline Doll Meet Little event on on Thursday, which I'm very excited because I'm going to get my first ever Mimi doll. And Allison is one of my absolute favorite YouTubers. You probably know of her if you're watching this live. She runs a YouTube channel, Mamekas, Papes, and Dolls, which means dolls, dolls, dolls in different languages. So I'm very excited to meet her. I'm very, very excited about that. I'm also very excited to get my first ever Mimi doll. So I'm going to those two events. I'm hoping I did not sign up for the Diana Effner dinner where they have the Little Darling. I like that Little Darling, but I'm more hoping to pick out my own or maybe get like another one. I did like Candace, the Little Darling from 2024, a little more than the one this year. The one this year is gorgeous. I'm just more of wanting to pick out my own, and the price of the that doll, because she's the convention doll, which means she wasn't as painted. She's not painted by hand, if I understand right, like the others. And I would really like to get a Little Darling painted by hand. But I did really want to go to the dinner. Now, these event dinners are really expensive. They're it's a little crazy. But for most of the dinners at Modern Doll, it's $125. But before I say that, most of the events are they're like $80 to attend a regular event, I believe. I know that's the price of Allison's with the Mimi dolls, but in that one you get a Mimi doll. But for the Diana Effner one, you don't get anything except the dinner. Sorry, and a few little table favors if you sign up. And it wasn't I wanted to go, but I was I don't really know if I want to do that because on Thursday it's going to be the super busy day. And if I did sign up for that dinner, I'd be going to event after event after event. And I didn't know if I want to do that, but now I regret it. And you can't, from my understanding, just go back and purchase a dinner because they had to go ahead and order things. But I think that when you go to the convention, if there's seats left over, you can pay to go to the dinner, but you won't have food and you can just listen to a little presentation and everything and watch everybody get their dolls. So if there's any seats left and I'm not completely pooped from how busy I've been that day because I got so much to do on Thursday, I'm very excited, I will try to attend that. So I'm really hoping, but I can't promise. But if not, I definitely know I want to attend that when I go to Modern Doll the second time, probably when I'm out of college, unfortunately. I'm feeling hoarse, so I might have to take a little break, but I won't end the live though because I do want to keep talking. But I did see that I got several comments. Okay, so all right, so Angie says, I'm going to take one of my smart dolls out to my therapy doc. She wants to see what they look like. That's so very cool. That's very cool too, because I feel like sometimes taking dolls with you is a lot more fun, just for everything. I take dolls with me a lot of places, more for photography, but I do know there's a lot of people who love to take them as companions. And I feel like even if you just took her to therapy in the first place, that could be a lot of fun. But that's very cool that your therapist wants to see her. So I hope that goes well. Also, too, you know that's a really cool therapist if she wants to see your smart doll. So Diva Dolls 9000 said, "Would you say smart doll bodies have improved over time since launch?" Yes, they have. I only have the Gen 3 body and the new Evolve body, but I can say that the Evolve body is better in my opinion than the G3. I just kind of prefer it since it's the one I've had for the longest time. And I know I'm hoarse. I'm sorry. I'm going to get some water in a second. I hope you don't like mind this too much. But yeah, I do think they improved. I have heard that the Gen 1 body, although very cool, but like it did have a lot more issues with it breaking. And then the Gen 2 was a little more of an improvement. But yes, I would say they have improved, especially the boy bodies, because the old boy bodies, like Jordan still has an old boy body. The arms are a lot worse about falling out. You can do it though. Like you can make it work, but I really do prefer the new boy body. All right. And then Lauren said, excited for you that you get to meet Allison. I love her. Thank you so much. And I am very, very excited about that. I'm going to I do have an idea for Modern Doll, and that's what I'm going to bring one of my Smart Doll like canvas bags. I'm going to try to get all of my like favorite doll people to sign it or something. I don't even really know if there'll be time for that or if that's something I can do, but it's something I do plan to do, and I'm really hoping I can get her to sign it for me. So I'm going to take like a little 5-minute break. I hope it's okay to leave the live going while I'm gone. I'm going to get some water. I'm going to come back and I'm going to like continue filming. I'll be right back in a second. That is a little bit better, but I still need a minute. While I catch my breath, one thing that I might want to show you guys, well, one thing I am going to show you guys is the current state of my Smart Doll house, because a lot of y'all are like, oh, you have a Smart Doll house. That's so cool. I do, but it's very much still a work in progress, and it's kind of just become a like, I'm going to put random stuff here if I don't have time to put it on my shelves, and it's always not the best to do that, but I want to show you what it's looking like now. So I'm going to have to take my phone off my tripod. Come on. All right, and I'm gonna have to figure out if there's a way to like switch the camera too. Hi, Kimberly. All right, so this is the current state of my Smart Doll house. It's a little crazy, definitely. We also, it's just lovely because we kind of have Chloe's head just sitting there in my doll house and just a bunch of really random stuff in there. Lily's room, I really love. I did do a lot of work on it lately, so we do have her like little pictures and stuff in there. Is there a way to put on the flash? There we go. So that way you can see the dollhouse a lot better. I'm working on just like adding decorations and stuff. Lily's is pretty much done. I do plan to add more pictures at some point, but I'll do that later to make it look like she works on it, because even when like people get ramps, they continue to work on them and stuff as time goes by. So yeah, we also need to put this is Lily's room. We also need to put Lily's desk back in here, because I did actually give Lily's desk to Chloe, and I bought a new desk to be Lily's. So right here we have Chloe's room. I need to work on the paper some, but I absolutely love this wall here. This is going to be her desk, and I need to move my water bottle. And here's her bed. I love her bedding there. Here's the new desk that's going to be Lily's desk, and we have her little entertainment center. And I just have a bunch of like random clips and a pin sitting there because that's lovely. And then here we have, this room's kind of like the miscellaneous room. It was originally going to be Lacey's room, but I decided it would be better to use it as a miscellaneous room, and I could still use it as Lacey's room. It used to have purple wallpaper, but I thought it would be better actually to leave the room white and then use like wallpaper and stuff, not having just put like posters on the wall, then that way I could have the room have stuff like a purple bed and it wouldn't be like tons and tons of purple. But we have a body sitting here I really need to dress. We have Iris sitting there still in her 4th of July outfit. And behind her we have Myra, whose wig I had to take off because I took her outside for some pictures and her wig fell off in like some grass. So I had to take it off to clean it. We have a head I need to send off to a face-up artist there. We still have my 4th of July little table and stuff there. I literally took that like a day or two before we went to the beach, so I haven't had much time to work on my doll stuff since then, but that's going to be my project over like the next few days. We have Clara sitting there in her outfit from the beach, and we also have a Tonner doll just sitting there. And my like electrolyte water stuff. And then on top we have Savannah, who I really need to work on as well. So that's like the current state of the dollhouse. All right, so I guess that's probably going to about wrap up this like live. I don't have too much else to say, and I don't think my hoarseness is going to go away, but I'm very happy I was able to do this for 50 minutes, especially with like my throat issue. But I probably need to rest my voice now for a while. But thank you so very much for watching this, and hopefully I can do more soon. It was great chatting with y'all. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you would like the live. Sorry I have to start, especially after you just joined, Kimberly, but I will save this so y'all can watch it later on my channel if you missed it. So thank y'all so very much for watching, and have a good day. I have to figure out how to end this. How do you end a live? Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes. So bye, y'all. Thank you for watching.